You're watching The Electric Feast.
Hello, my name is Joseph Delaney, and I'm with the Electric Feast Network, and I'd like to welcome Rafi Diaz and Lane Garrison, the writer and illustrator of the exciting, totally badass webcomic Thoughtstronauts. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thank you so much.
First, I'd like to open up just by asking Thoughtstronauts, what is this thing? What is Thoughtstronauts?
Thoughtstronauts is a science fiction, high concept science fiction universe about using sort of the metaphors of like the world and the problems that you have, interpersonal problems and such, to fight things. It's a little old school Star Trek in the sense that issues are about concepts, and those concepts are fought using sci-fi metaphors. In this case, the concepts are interpersonal problems, emotional problems, psychological problems, mostly problems of self and of the mind. And Professor Pearl acts as our sci-fi captain that brings us from planet to planet, and each planet is a different person's mind.
When did Thoughtstronauts start? Like, when did you start really kind of imagining this thing? When did it start forming in your head?
So about 2 years ago, I was living in Brooklyn, and I had just gotten over graduating from college, and I didn't know when I was going to see my friends again, and I was just having a tough time. And during that really tough time, I tried meditating, and I tried finding ways to fix things, and I started thinking about how much I was holding myself back, and there's something in my mind that I needed to change to stop myself from holding myself back so much. And that's sort of when Pearl jumped into my head, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was this sort of like magical person who would fly from brain to brain and figure out what was holding someone back, and then basically help them solve that and fix it so that they could grow into a better person. And I just thought that was a really cool concept, and I ran with it.
I'm really interested in what were some of the major inspirations that helped create Thoughtstronauts. I mean, the first thing that came to mind when I started reading about the background of it was Psychonauts by Tim Schafer for the PS2 and Xbox. That game was just phenomenal. It changed the way I perceived gaming. It changed this whole idea of kind of storytelling and interacting with the human mind was just so cool. And I mean, this whole idea of Thoughtstronauts, it really it rings with that. I saw like FLCL you guys mentioned on your Tumblr page, and like the idea of what her cat piloting the spaceship. I was thinking a little bit of like the Cabot from Tenchi, a little bit.
I love Tenchi. That is definitely I love Tenchi.
So yeah, I guess what other kind of things like inspired you? I guess the style or the plot or what makes.
Lane, do you want to talk about the style?
So the style comes from a lot of different places. The world Rafi's crafted is this really cool, crazy place where anything could happen. I mean, people's subconsciouses, they're amazing. So trying to create an art style that would fit with that would be appealing, but still, I guess, different. I looked at a lot of different artists, found things like Psychonauts, and then a lot of other artists that have really inspired me, and tried to take things from that in order to create that first page that we posted on the site. It's a mixture of things. I mean, the story is all about people, so people being the diverse group that they are, I'm trying to have a style that can appeal to that diverse group and reflect it.
The cool thing about Thoughtstronauts, and I think it's one of the big things that it's like something Lane and I are doing in making this, is that we are lucky enough to be part of the generation of people who sort of grew up side by side with the internet. So we were, watching DBZ the same time that we were reading Superman comics, and we're lucky to be able to grow up in a world where the global experience of nerd media was acceptable. It's really easy to say that Pearl is equally inspired by Luca from Chrono Trigger as she is inspired by Velma Dinky from Scooby-Doo. So to bring something that's incredibly American and something that's incredibly Japanese and to walk that line directly down the middle, it's what we're going for. I think we're lucky in the sense that we can craft something that has a global audience now, and it's prime time that we took advantage of that. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do with Thoughtstronauts.
I know you touched a little bit on on like the idea of metaphor and being communicated through sci-fi. Do you want to expand a little bit on that? Like, what are you really like trying to pull off with this project? Some of the major conflicts or ideas that might develop down the road, or is that something that's still kind of secret?
We can talk about some of that stuff. So all of the laws in the universe and all of the rules between the monsters and stuff and the characters have to do with emotions, the mind, and personal problems. There is one creature in the Thoughtstronauts universe that I can talk about that I think is really cool, which goes by many names: the Tarasek, the Tesseract, the Tarasi. But the idea behind it is that it's the shadow of the fourth dimension, and it is summoned forth when someone has held on to so much baggage and negative energy that the only thing they can do with it is sort of let it escape their mind and body by accidentally ripping a hole and letting this creature out from the fourth dimension. And it is this impossible to destroy alien-styled beast that rips apart everyone they love and leaves them last. And the only way to destroy it is to figure out who summoned it and to get them to work through their issue. Otherwise, the beast is invincible. So that is one of the many monsters that we will fight in Thoughtstronauts.
That sounds amazing, especially considering, you know, the first page you guys released is this really bright, really like it's Pixar-esque in the simplicity of the opening story. And when you mentioned this about kind of this idea of heartbreak, I feel really bad for what's about to happen to this guy. So I'm really excited to see where you guys go with this comic, because so far it's just sounding just superb. I'd love to know, what do you guys think? Where do you think this project's going to end up? Like 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road? Like, how long do you think you're going to stick with this thing?
Lane, how long are you willing to do this?
I mean, the world that we've got going right now is huge, and it's got a lot of potential for growth even within the story that we've kind of already developed. So, I mean, really, as long as it takes to tell the story, there's so much here, and it's all really interesting that I would be happy to do this for 5, 8, 10 years, and still have plenty left to give.
Awesome.
I love the universe, and I'm a big fan. But I definitely want to be able to say the end someday. But the worlds and the pacing and the timeline's been built in such a way where there are gaps on purpose, and that allows for possible future projects and for me to be able to collaborate with other people and let them fill in some of the holes. So it could go on for a very long time, even after I've decided, or Lena's decided he doesn't want to work on this anymore. But I'd be willing to work on it as much as another 10 years.
Do you guys have any ideas for like publishing this thing eventually, getting it actually printed so people can hold it in their hands like a graphic novel kind of thing, or getting some kind of physical medium?
You can make this an Electric Feast exclusive that we're planning on launching a Kickstarter by the end of June.
Awesome.
So yeah, fingers crossed that'll be working, up and running.
So yeah, listen to that, people. That's going to be coming up in June. We're the first people to know about it, apparently. They're going to be launching a Kickstarter coming up, so definitely follow that, because these guys, they're going to go somewhere. So if you want to be one of the original funders to this project, you're definitely going to be part of something big. I guess the last thing I got for you guys, this has been great. Where can people find out information about Thoughtstronauts? Where can they go? Where can they find out about you guys? Where can you get those likes, get those clicks?
We've got the Thoughtstronauts Facebook, which is facebook.com/Thoughtstronauts. And if you're wondering how that's spelled, it's the word thought, followed by stronaut, S, so like an astronaut, but of the mind, Thoughtstronaut. And then there's Thoughtstronauts.com, which leads to our Tumblr. Lane has a Tumblr as well, if you want to plug that, Lane.
Yeah. If you want to see some of my other art, lane-garrison.tumblr.com. I'm trying to post things there as often as I can, and sometimes you'll get snippets of Thoughtstronaut things that might be coming out a little ahead of the primary pages, so little sneak peeks there from time to time.
And then I have a personal Tumblr, which is rappytba.tumblr.com, but that's just, if you want to see lots of posts about feminist redesigns of comic book characters and the occasional butt, you can follow me on Tumblr.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to follow you guys right away, so Thank you so much, and thank you for joining the Electric Feast for this little interview. And
Thanks for having me.
I can't wait to see more from you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
You're watching The Electric Feast.